to Fantastic History. I'm Clay.
I'm Sarah.
We're a husband and wife duo who enjoy telling each other about amazing events, people, and mysteries throughout history. So, Sarah, you know, one of the most fun things about the United States is that it's so big that there are many different cultures in one country. The South is very different from the Northeast, for instance.
Sure.
But no matter where you go, there is a guarantee that you are probably not too far from some place that is really weird.
Okay.
Just go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere. Ask a local what weird town is nearby, and you are going to get a very specific answer.
Okay.
I bet if we go down right now to the corner store or something and say, what's a weird nearby place? You're going to get a very specific answer.
Okay.
Probably with a story.
Sure.
Well, that's what we're going to talk about. The strangest towns in America.
Oh, this is exciting. Are we going to all of them?
Well, there's a lot of them.
Okay.
Probably hundreds, if not thousands.
And?
I don't know if we can go to all of them.
Okay.
But it was a lot of fun researching this.
I bet it was.
Because there are a lot. And I came across many weird towns by name only.
Oh.
Places you would only want to visit just to take a picture of their welcome sign. Because,
sure.
the actual place is probably pretty boring.
Uh-huh.
Well, this would include Hell, Michigan.
Yep.
Ding Dong, Texas.
Y'all.
Intercourse, Pennsylvania. Boring, Oregon.
Yeah, I buy that.
Toad Suck, Arkansas.
Oh, guys, come on.
French Lick, Indiana. Sugar Tit, South Carolina.
Oh, yep, know about that one.
Y, Arizona.
People ask that all the time.
Or, if you're feeling contrarian,
Mm-hmm.
why not North Carolina?
Oh, boo.
Those are all pretty good.
Sure.
But my favorite is in New Mexico. A town once called Hot Springs decided to change its name when in the 1950s the radio quiz show Truth or Consequences announced they would air their 10th anniversary show from the town that changed its name to Truth or Consequences.
Yes.
And that's what Hot Springs did, becoming Truth or Consequences New Mexico to this day.
So is that what we should do? So guys, we've been trying to kind of figure out what we're going to do for our 100th episode.
Mm-hmm.
So if you change the name of your town to Fantastic History, we will come and record it live in your shitty town.
I'm sure there's going to be so many.
Well, hey, I guarantee 100% we will do that. You just have to submit the paperwork within the next few weeks.
Yeah, there's not much time left.
Yeah, get that over to us real quick.
Well, one of my favorite towns that I came across is Utqiagvik, formerly known as Barrow, Alaska.
Okay.
So this is the northernmost town in the United States,
Yikes.
sitting at the very tip top of Alaska. There are no roads that reach up there because the conditions are so harsh.
Yeah.
So the only way to reach it is by plane or by boat only a few weeks of the year when the ice melts.
Oh my God.
But despite being remote, freezing, and difficult to reach, it has a population of nearly 5,000 and has many amenities you'd expect from a modern town. It's got internet, television, transportation, local newspaper and radio station, restaurants, a bank, a hospital, an elementary school, a middle school, a high school, and a college. And they even get regular deliveries from like Amazon. And their grocery store is usually fully stocked with everything you would expect, including fresh fruits and vegetables.
This is bizarre.
But because everything has to be flown into town, prices are very high.
Yeah.
So, for instance, a gallon of milk may cost $13.
Oh, no.
A box of cereal might cost around $12. And a single roll of toilet paper is going to put you back $4.
Do y'all have any idea how much things are supposed to cost? Like, you could live anywhere and not pay that much.
It's true. But the median income of Utqiagvik is higher than down here in the lower 48 because most of the town is employed by the employed by or supports the nearby oil fields.
Ah.
The median age is 29,
Mm-hmm.
and the racial makeup of the town is about 60% Inuit, Alaskan Native.
Oh, wow.
The majority Native population is what led to the town being renamed from Barrow.
Sure.
The town also hosts festivals and celebrations related to Inuit culture, most of which revolves around whaling, which has been a primary source of sustenance for over 1,500 years.
That's so crazy to think about.
Yeah, it's crazy. Really cool place to find a video on because it feels like almost like living on a different planet.
To me, it's just like the way you're describing it before. This is like the perfect setup for a Stephen King novel because it's this isolated town, 5,000 people, which sounds like more than it really is. Everybody knows everybody. And then like people just start going missing. Oh my God. But nobody can come in or out until the ice thaws in 6 months and the planes can't get through because there's a blizzard. And like, oh my God, what's happening?
There you go. Now you're thinking.
That's why I was giving you that crazy look the whole time because I was like plotting. I was like, now's not the time.
Well, the next town I want to talk about is quite different. It's located in warmer Nebraska and a lot warmer.
Yeah, I guess.
And it lacks many of the amenities of the remote Alaskan town and is less populated. Much less populated.
Okay, but how much is the cereal?
Well, I don't even know if they have cereal.
Okay, forget that then.
In fact, Monowi only has one resident. Her name is Elsie Eiler, and she is the treasurer, the librarian, and the bartender. She pays taxes to herself. She issues liquor and tobacco licenses also to herself, and she is the sole vote for the mayor, who is Elsie Eiler.
So, this reminds me of like the crazy lady who was in purgatory in The Good Place.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Monowi is a really, really small town. It's basically just a few roads, like a handful of buildings, maybe a couple of street lights. But it is considered an incorporated village and the only one in the U.S. with only one resident.
Why would they need streetlights?
For traffic.
There's one lady.
For all the traffic.
Okay.
So Monowi used to be a proper town in the 30s with 150 residents. They had grocery stores, a church, restaurants, farms, and even a one-room schoolhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Elsie grew up in Monowi and lived there with her husband, Rudy. In 1971, they opened the town's only tavern. But after World War II, the populations of the sparse rural farmlands began to leave for the cities and the suburbs. So even by 71, Monowi was beginning to dwindle. The post office and the last grocery store closed by 1970. The church saw its last service a decade prior.
Wow.
Elsie and Rudy's children left town, and by 2000, Elsie and Rudy were the town's only remaining residents.
That's so weird.
And ever since 2004, Elsie has been the last one. But in interviews, Elsie says she isn't lonely. As the town's bartender and cook at the tavern, she serves a number of regulars who come in from neighboring towns. People she has known all of her life.
That's so weird.
But the tavern also sees its fair share of curious visitors.
Of course.
Her guest book is full of names from all around the world for people who decided to swing by and grab a moderately priced meal and the coldest beer in town.
Stop it, Elsie. So why hasn't anybody moved there?
I think there is no reason to. There's only a tavern.
I don't see the problem.
So I guess there's nobody wants to. You know?
Very weird.
Right next to the tavern, though, is the only other public building in town, Rudy's Library, a medium-sized shed with floor-to-ceiling books consisting of Rudy's private collection,
Oh.
now available for all as Rudy's last wish.
Oh, Rudy.
It's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. The next place I want to talk about is the biggest in this episode. It's called Oak Ridge. It's located in Tennessee. And it seems pretty normal, but its bizarre history has earned it the nickname of the city behind a fence.
Oh.
Before Oak Ridge existed, several farming communities developed in the area. Then in 1942, students in the tiny community were told by their principal that the government was going to take their homes for a war effort. It was 42.
Mm-hmm.
Residents returned home from work to find eviction notices on their door.
Oh, no.
3,000 people suddenly found themselves being forced out of their family homes without warning or explanation, and often with too small compensation.
Oh, my.
Yeah. So what was the purpose of this? Well, the government had chosen 60,000 acres of Tennessee farmland to construct a large plant and a planned city for tens of thousands of workers. Even most of the workers who were brought in did not know that they were working. They did not know what they were working on. In truth, this massive secret facility was the key site of the Manhattan Project.
Oh, shit.
And where the bombs that would be dropped on Japan were built.
Uh-huh.
To ensure worker morale was kept high, and the citizens in this little pop-up town, not so little, really, were kept engaged while working on a project that they had no idea what it really was.
Oh, my God.
The military ensured that it felt and operated like any other city. They had recreational facilities, schools, supermarkets, sports leagues, and more. But remember, this is a place that had about 3,000 people a couple of years ago, and now it has 75,000 people.
Oh, my God.
It isn't a place anyone grew up in or feels at home in.
Sure.
And the city was kept behind fences and guard towers. and then the war ended, and Oak Ridge became a civilian-controlled city. The federal government remains the largest employer of Oak Ridge to this day. Lots of facilities are still in operation, but it's a standard regular town now.
That's so weird.
But the fact that Oak Ridge was completely planned specifically to create enriched uranium and build the world's first atomic bombs makes it a really interesting town.
I don't think I'd drink the water there.
It'd be weird, right?
I do not think I would do tap water if you're in Oak Ridge, guys.
The next place is not a city or town or an incorporated village, but it is a place where people live free of civilization. Located about 170 miles southeast of Los Angeles in the California desert is a place that's pretty difficult to describe. It is an off-the-grid community comprised of retirees, homeless, vagabonds, artists, eccentrics, and others. The town is cobbled together from what people could bring or find, so it kind of looks like a post-apocalyptic village.
I love that for them.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's not full of savages.
Sure.
Apparently, from what I've read and watched, most of the people are very kind and happy. It was once called Camp Dunlap, a training facility for the U.S. military during World War II that was closed and torn down in 1956, but the building slabs remained. The land is owned by the state of California, but there are no restrictions here, no law enforcement or fences. It's a place where people who may not be welcome anywhere else can go. And it's called Slab City.
Why not?
It has no infrastructure, no running water, no electricity, no government. But the nearby town of Nyland does provide fire services and schooling. And it isn't off limits to like police or border control or anything like that.
Sure. But the police would have no jurisdiction.
Well, they do have jurisdiction. They can go if they need to, but there's not like a police station
Gotcha.
in town. But if they have to go there and handle any problems, they could. Right?
Okay.
And that's not to say that it's a lawless land. It's a self-sustaining community. So the community has rules to ensure that everyone is safe and protected. And there are many art installations in Slab City, as you might imagine. When entering, you'll likely see one of the old guardhouses that have been painted into this colorful welcome sign. And one of the oldest landmarks is called Salvation Mountain, a 3-story tall hill that was built by resident Leonard Knight over the course of 20 years.
Oh, my.
Starting in 1989. The structure is made of adobe and paint and is a huge, colorful, towering presence in Slab City.
Wow.
Another famous art installation is called East Jesus. And as the caretaker wizard says, it's a sheltered workshop for the work ethic impaired.
Okay.
So it's just this massive area full of weird art, giant sculptures, and other type of experimental art pieces. And it's cool because it's in a constant state of decay, but also growth.
Okay.
So as the harsh conditions deteriorate parts of it, and people are welcome to touch anything also. So it's constantly deteriorating, but contributing artists from around the world come to add more. So it's just constantly being torn down and built up.
I love that.
Yeah. So unlike Salvation Mountain, which is left as a monument built by a single man, East Jesus is a art installation that's always transforming. And they also have stuff. They might not have like power lines and running water, but they have a library. They have an internet cafe and a hostel. And they have a nightclub with weekly open mic nights.
Oh, God.
So it sounds like kind of a cool place.
It does. Of all the towns that you've mentioned, that's the one I would live in.
Now, the last town on my list may be the most bizarre of all. It was once a bustling little town of 1,000 residents, but now sits as a ghost town.
Ooh, I love a ghost town.
Roads are blocked off, and signs warn intruders to stay away. But inside, houses are demolished, strange smells emanate from the ground, and large fissures have ripped through the highways.
Oh, my God.
Centralia was a coal mining town scattered with open pit mines and mazes of coal mines underneath.
Oh, my God.
Well, in the early 1960s, it was discovered that the coal mines under the town had caught fire.
Whoa.
Now, I didn't know this, but coal mine fires are quite common. Burning Mountain in Australia is an underground coal fire that has believed to have been burning for 6,000 years.
Sorry?
6,000 years.
And it's still going?
It's still going.
I do not understand that at all.
Because there's enough fuel and I guess enough low oxygen to just keep it smoldering.
That's so weird.
For 6,000 years.
Ugh.
That's an example of a natural underground cave fire, but man-made coal mine fires seem to be common too. They catch fire and slowly burn for decades or centuries as well.
That's so crazy.
And it isn't agreed how this fire started. One hypothesis is that the fire was ignited in 1962 when the city decided to clean up a landfill in a former strip mine by burning it.
Great.
Why not?
Great.
Not realizing there was a hole underneath the landfill that had formed, and the fire entered the mines from that hole.
Oh, my God.
Another is that the fire started way back in 1932 when a building used by the mine exploded, and the fire was not fully extinguished but rather went underground, only to reach close enough to the surface to be identified 30 years later.
This is extremely disturbing.
Yeah, it is. So regardless of how this fire started, the city had a big problem because later that year, lethal levels of carbon monoxide were found inside the mines, and the mines were immediately closed.
So, sorry, what state is this in?
Pennsylvania, I think.
Okay. I was imagining like West Virginia.
Yeah, this is Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Over the next 20 years, attempts were made to extinguish or otherwise deal with the fire, but the plans either failed or were abandoned. In 1979, a gas station owner noticed gas under that the gas in his underground tanks seemed warmer than they're supposed to be.
Oh, no. Get out.
He inserted a thermometer and discovered that the temperature of the gas was 172 degrees Fahrenheit.
Nope, get out.
The normal temperature should have been 60 degrees.
Get out.
Then in 1981, two preteen boys were playing in their backyard when suddenly
Oh, no.
a massive sinkhole opened up and right beneath one of the boys.
Oh, no.
He was able to grab onto a tree,
Oh, my God.
and his cousin was able to help pull him out.
Oh, my God.
The sinkhole was 4 feet wide and 150 feet deep,
Holy shit.
with hot steam and lethal levels of carbon monoxide billowing out of it.
Oh, my God.
And finally, in 1984, the state allocated funds to relocate all the citizens out of the city. And in 1992, the governor invoked eminent domain.
Wow.
Now, bizarrely, it wasn't until 2009 that the governor formally evicted the few remaining residents because the state, for some reason, agreed to let 7 residents live their life on their property instead of demanding that they leave. I don't exactly know why. Maybe they didn't want to fight these people who were like, "This is my land. I'm going to defend it," or whatever.
If you want to die in a sinkhole to hell, that's your business.
Yeah. Well, it's not clear if anyone lives there now, but no one's legally or officially living there.
Wow.
It's considered a ghost town. So there are no public services and the roads in and out are closed.
That's so bizarre.
If you go today, you'll see plumes of steam coming out of the ground, and you can even visit Pennsylvania's only geyser.
Oh.
The Big Mine Run geyser, which erupts due to the flooding inside the hot burning mines.
Oh my God. I mean, that does sound like it'd be really cool to see, though.
Yeah, it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. Those are some of the strangest towns I came across. And I'm sure there are plenty more. So if you have any you want to share with us, maybe we'll do a part 2.
Ooh, I love a good part 2.
Please share your ideas at fantastichistorypod@gmail.com. You can also find us on TikTok and YouTube at Fantastic History Podcast and Instagram and Threads at Fantastic History Pod. Make sure that you also leave a review and a rating. That would be really cool. All right. Until next week.
Bye.